Once upon a time, there was a young girl who lived with her mother in a small village. She was very kind and loved to brighten the villagers' day by bringing them flowers. All the villagers adored the sweet, innocent girl who always wore a red hooded cloak. In fact, they couldn't remember a time when the girl wasn't wearing the red hood. And so around the village, she was known to everyone as Little Red Riding Hood. The hood was a gift from the girl's grandmother who lived north from the village deep within the woods. These woods were filled with grand sturdy trees, clear rushing streams, and colorful wildflower fields. But there was also a dangerous threat in the woods, a threat that Little Red Riding Hood was about to encounter. One sunny day, Little Red Riding Hood was on her way to visit her grandmother. Before she left, her caring mother made her promise not to talk to strangers or stray from the trail. So with a promise, a basket full of baked goods, and of course her favorite red hood, Little Red Riding Hood made her way to grandmother's house. But as she skips deeper and deeper into the woods, she did not realize that hungry eyes were watching her every move. Halfway to grandmother's house, Little Red Riding Hood suddenly stopped when she heard a jagged cackle coming from the shadows. Out behind the trees came a wolf that was easily 3 times the size of Little Red.
Well, what do we have here?
Hello, Mr. Wolf. My name is Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh, and just where are we off to in such a hurry, my delicious little friend?
I'm going to see my grandmother and eat these baked goods with her.
Grandmother?
Shouted the wolf in joy while thinking,
I think grandmother will be the perfect first course. How lovely. And just where does your grandmother happen to live?
She lives deep in the woods in a cottage next to the stream.
Well, it was very nice to meet you today, Little Red Riding Hood. Why don't I tell you a little secret in return for you being so kind to me?
A secret?
Yes, a secret. Do you see that tree right over there? On that tree grows the sweetest fruit in all of the woods. You should go pick some for grandmother.
I don't know, Mr. Wolf. I promised Mother I wouldn't go off the path.
But just think of how nice it would be to share the fruit with your sweet grandmother. Besides, what your mother doesn't know won't hurt her.
Little Red thought about it for a second and replied,
You're right, Mr. Wolf. Thank you.
She then began to skip towards the tree while waving goodbye to the wolf.
You're very welcome. Now I must be off. Ta-ta for now, Little Red Riding Hood.
As the wolf started to walk away, he turned his head back towards the little girl and while licking his chops thought,
grandmother first, and then the main course.
As Little Red Riding Hood started to pick fruits, the wolf ran along the path and eventually came upon grandmother's house.
Yeah, hold your horses, I'm coming.
As grandmother opened the door, she suddenly heard a rumbling growl and saw nothing but darkness. After collecting enough fruit, Little Red Riding Hood reached grandmother's house and knocked.
Come in.
As the little girl walked in, she noticed that the room was very dark, with only a lit candle next to grandmother's bed.
Grandmother?
Over in the bed, dearie.
As Little Red Riding Hood walked towards the bed, she noticed that something was very strange about grandmother.
Oh, Grandmother. What big eyes you have.
Big, piercing yellow eyes stared back at Little Red Riding Hood.
All the better to see you with, my dear.
Oh, Grandmother. What big ears you have.
Big, pointy, hairy ears twitched at the sound of her voice.
All the better to hear you with, my dear.
Oh, grandmother, what big hands you have!
Big hairy paws with sharp nails started reaching for her.
All the better to grab you with, my dear.
Oh, grandmother, what big teeth you have!
All the better to eat you with, my dear.
And then the wolf, disguised as grandmother, jumped from the bed and devoured the screaming girl whole. Stuffed to the brim, the wolf let out a huge yawn and fell asleep in grandmother's bed. The sun was setting and a woodsman was coming back from a long day of chopping wood when suddenly he heard a loud scream in the distance. Rushing towards the scream, the woodsman came upon grandmother's house, finding the door wide open. Entering the cottage, the woodsman was surprised to find a snoring wolf sleeping in the bed. Taking a closer look, the woodsman noticed a piece of red fabric in the wolf's mouth, as well as the wolf's giant bulge of a stomach. Angry that the wolf had eaten the sweet old lady he would talk to from time to time, the woodsman readied his axe. With a great swing, the wolf's belly split in half, releasing both Little Red Riding Hood and grandmother.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It was dark and very smelly.
With the wolf still fast asleep, Little Red Riding Hood went outside and collected some sharp-pointed stones. She then stuffed the stones in the wolf's belly and asked grandmother to sew the stomach shut. When the wolf woke up, he noticed the woodsman and his sharp axe. Trying to get away, the wolf jumped from the bed only to find himself weighed down by the rocks. Hitting the floor, the sharp stones in his gut stabbed the wolf, and he died. With the wolf dead, the woodsman skinned the wolf and gave the pelt to Little Red Riding Hood. Happy to still be alive, both Little Red Riding Hood and grandmother enjoyed the rest of the evening with the baked goods Little Red brought.
I promise, grandmother, that I'll never talk to strange wolves or step off the trail ever again.
Hey, hope you enjoyed the tale of Little Red Riding Hood. If you enjoy fairy tales, mythology, folklore, or legends, then please subscribe because there's more videos to come. Until next time.